This conference
Uh,
will now be recorded.
this is Karthik, having around 15 years of experience into supply chain. Majorly, I am into SAP IBP, SAP S4HANA, aATP, and PPDS. And in the today's session, we just go into the overview of aATP, what aATP offers to streamline the order promising process. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. Please confirm once you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. So before going into the overview of aATP, so how it is evolved. Okay. So we'll try to understand that. After that, we'll move on to the functionality which aATP offers. Okay. So does anybody aware of the sample supply chain, how it looks? Any one of you? Any supply chain, if you take how it starts and how it ends. Ankur?
Supply chain in the sense like, are you looking for asking here how it get initiated?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I believe like supply chain get initiated basically from your sales and distribution, where when we start getting the sales order,
Mm-hmm.
so some sort of activities happen in the system like backward scheduling or forward scheduling,
Mm-hmm.
and based on that we will provide the material availability date to the customer. Okay,
Okay.
but that is not all about like how the scheduling work. It's more into like we do the perform the product allocation check, where we will be looking for the checking rule, checking groups. Your
Mm-hmm.
requirement class gets triggered on, strategies are happening in the background.
Yeah, basically you
Your
are telling
MRP,
based upon the ATP, it will read and against that it will confirm it. Right.
yeah, I mean
So,
like from sales it's moved to your MRP part. So from where the availability part gets triggered, right? So
Mhm.
transfer of availability check happens.
Yeah. So if you take any supply chain network, if ultimately it starts with the customer, right? So once the customer comes with a requirement, then actual process initiated within your organization. Okay. For example, let me take a simple supply chain. So customer comes to the, let us say, retailers, and retailers verify whether we can able to fulfill this customer demand or not, and the retailer will further propagate the demand to the distribution centers, and distribution centers again verify whether I can able to fulfill this retailer demand or not. Okay, if the stock is available, he will straight away fulfill it, and retailer will fulfill the customer demand. If not, then DC will further propagate to the manufacturing plant, and at manufacturing plant again it looks for the stock. If the stock is readily available, it will supply it. If not, then it will go for the production, and it will plan it. Okay, and if the components are fully available, capacity fully available, then it will go and produce it. If not, again it has to depend upon the supplier, either for the raw material. If the capacity is not available, then completely for the FG also it can depend on. Okay, so whatever the requirement you get at the downstream node of your supply chain, that is a customer. Okay, so it propagates from customer to from customer to from customer to a retailer, and retailers will further propagate the demand to the distribution centers, and the distribution center will further propagate the demands to the plant, and the plant will propagate the dependent demand to the supplier, or sometimes it will propagate the entire demand of FG to the supplier also if the capacity is not at all available. Okay, let us say the requirement is 100, it will propagate like this. Okay, so Now, against your requirement, so supply will flow from upstream nodes to the downstream node of your supply chain, right? So supply will, so this supplier will fulfill the raw materials to the plant, and once the raw materials are available, plant will produce it, and it will distribute to the DC, and DC will distribute to the retailer. Retailer will fulfill the customer demand. So if you take any supply chain network, okay, so it, the demand always flows from the downstream nodes to the upstream node of your supply chain, and the supply will flow from the upstream nodes to the downstream node. So for any supply chain network, ultimate aim is to provide the customer demand, to satisfy the customer demand with the right quantity of right quality on right time. If you're able to do that, then you will be uh, able to sustain in the market. Okay, so to do that, so you need to have a proper plan in place. So whenever a customer comes with any requirement, you should be able to provide the confirmation, or you should be able to provide the supply on a right time. So to do that, you need to have a proper supply plan in place. Okay, to do that, in the market multiple tools are available. We have Anaplan, we have JDA, we have Kinaxis, and from SAP side we have SAP APO and IBP. Okay, so let us concentrate on the SAP products, that is SAP APO. So SAP APO products, which handles the end-to-end supply chain of your network. Okay. So again, SAP APO further subdivided into the 5 modules to handle this process. The first one is a demand planning, and second one is a supply network planning, and the third one is a PPDS, production planning and scheduling, and the fourth one is a GATP, global available to promise, and the last one is a TPVS. So demand planning is basically it's a forecasting tool. Okay, so based upon your past sales, so this is the demand we are going to get for the next 6 months or the next 1 year. It is able to predict that. Okay, so with the help of the demand planning, you will get to know the what is the demand you are going to get for the next 6 months or the next 1 year. Basically, demand planning is a long term plan. Okay, so once you know that this is the demand I'm going to get, against the demand, okay, I should have the proper supply plan in place. Okay, so to have that supply plan in place, okay, we have SNP. It will help you to provide the supply plan against your demand. It will consider your both forecast and the ongoing sales orders. Against that, it will propose the supply plan. Okay, so once it is generated the supply plan, so basically supply plan means this is where we need to produce, this is where you need to store, this DC has to be get it from this plant. So all those things you will get via supply plan. So once you have the supply plan is ready, then based upon your feasibility, you need to convert that supply plan into the actual execution. So you need to convert the supply plan into the actual production plan. That will be done in the PPDS. So here every second will matter. Okay, so in which sequence I need to produce, also this is taken care in the PPDS. So during the production or the post the production, okay, to move the products from one node to another node within your supply chain network or outside of your supply chain network, optimally, if you want to move it, will depend upon the TPS, transportation and vehicle scheduling. Okay, and finally we have a GATP. It's a global available to promise. What it will do is, whatever the things we discussed so far, that 4 other modules of major modules of APO, which deals with the planning within your supply chain, okay, within your organization. Okay, this is not visible to the outside customer. Okay, but GATP is a front end tool which interacts with your customer. Okay, so it will take your customer requirement, and it will verify entire your supply chain network whether I can able to fulfill that or not. If you are able to fulfill it, by when you are going to fulfill it. So basically it will read your customer requirement, against that it will propose the delivery to the customer. Okay, this is how APO. So later it is moved to it is migrated to SAP IBP. Okay, so whatever the planning models like demand planning, SNP, it is moved to IBP as IBP for demand. and we have IBP for S&OP, IBP for supply, like this. So whatever the demand planning SNP is there, that is migrated to IBP. So okay, so whatever the PPDS and GATP TPS is there, right? It is moved to the S4 HANA. Okay, so the PPDS is moved to S4 HANA as embedded PPDS, ePPDS, and TPS is a TM, and GATP is moved to S4 HANA as aATP, Advanced Available-to-Promise. So this is how the aATP is evolved. Okay, whatever the functionalities are there in GATP, they are trying to get the same functionalities into the aATP. On top of that, the new functionality, enhanced version of those functionality, you will get it. Okay, so any doubt so far? How aATP evolved and where it sits in your supply chain before going into the aATP?
Karthik, one question I have.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when you talk about the ePPDS part,
Yeah.
so is it something we have a same solution in cloud and on-premise as well, or a private cloud?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So again, so whatever the S4 HANA we are talking, it's available in a three things. One is a cloud, on-premise, and a mixed one. So whatever the ePPDS is there, right? It's a cloud solution. At the same time, you can handle in a on-premise also. Okay.
Uh, Hello, Karthik, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I have one question. There are multiple, I can tell, like the topics in the SAP APO and the IBP and all
Mhm.
this, right? AATP is a small part which is available in SAP S4HANA, or totally it is uh, everything demand planning is yet to be
No,
migrated to
so
S4HANA.
ATP is one of the module. So if you
Okay,
see, it is one of the module in APO earlier days. Okay. So
okay.
in APO we have demand, supply, and the production. Everything is there. On top of that, we have the GATP. Okay. So now this GATP part only moved to S4HANA as AATP. So AATP will handles only the order promising. Okay. It won't
Okay.
deal with the demand planning and the supply planning.
Mm, okay, okay. So those are still existing, and it is not a part of SAP ATP, AATP.
Right. Right.
Oh,
So shall we move ahead?
yes.
Yeah. So, what is AATP and what are the different functionalities it can offer to the customer? So, let us discuss that. So, basically, AATP is an order promising tool. It will read your customer requirements, and by understanding your existing situation, your supply chain network, it will promise the confirmation to the customer. Okay. So, if you see this diagram, okay. So, on one side, we have the receipts. Okay. On one side, we have the requirements. Okay. These are the requirements. Just a second. So the requirements, and these are the receipts. Okay, what it will do is it will take the requirements and verify your existing stock situations. By considering your business priority and the profitability, it will confirm it. Okay, so it will integrate, okay, your requirement versus your receipts. By considering the business priority, it will confirm your order. Okay, so it is a integrated order fulfillment process. It will read your receipts and the requirement. By considering the your business priorities, it will promise it, this is when you are going to get it, or this is when you are going to deliver it. Okay, those details it will promise via AATP. So now, as a solution, so how AATP is different from your the normal ERP ATP are. Okay, so it is simple and easy to maintain, because so whatever the complicated configurations are there in earlier days in ECC, okay, it is simplified, and the apps are whatever the configuration you need to do, that is limited. At the same time, whatever the functionalities are in AATP, that you can access via a free applications. Okay, you can easily access. Okay, easy to maintain, easy to understand also. It is very simple to understand. Now it's fast as well, because the backend, the core is the S4HANA database. So obviously, the fetching of the data and updating into that, updating the results into the database, it will be little faster. Okay, comparatively to the ERP, and it is flexible. And it is flexible means it is available in the both public and the private clouds, uh, uh, and the on-premise as well. Okay, so depending upon your requirement, you can choose anyone. And it is intelligent, because it will, once it reads your requirement, okay, it will look for the certain location at the customer order at certain location. If the location, at the respective location, if the stock is not there, it will dynamically look for the alternative location within your supply chain network, from where I can able to fulfill this. Okay, it automatically deals with that. And at the same time, it will handle the exceptions also. If something is failed, what to do next? Okay, you have planned something, but that is not going as you planned, but how to handle that exception? So the exceptional handling also will be there in the AATP. Now at last, it is integrated, it is tightly integrated with all the execution modules of your S4HANA, whether it can be manufacturing, it can be sales and distribution, it can be logistics. Okay, all those things will be integrated with the our AATP solution. So if you see here, majorly the sales and distribution, manufacturing, logistic execution, and the planning. Okay, so it will integrate with the all the modules. Okay, starting from the SD, whatever the sales order you are registering it. Okay, so it will read your current situation, and against that it will propose the delivery to your sales orders. Okay, and if you are doing the manufacturing it, now for the planned or the production order, it will verify, okay, whether the all the components are available, or if I go with this requirement, by when I'm going to fulfill this. Okay, when I need to plan my planned order. Okay, so the manufacturing integration also there, execution, logistics also, it will consider the transportation lead times and all. So that is also will be taken care, it will tightly integrated with that, and the planning also. Okay, so all those things are tightly integrated with your AATP while promising the dates. So these are the high level major functionalities of the AATP. So it provides the PAC, that is a product availability check. It provides product allocation, PAL, and it provides ABC, alternative based confirmation, and it will provide the functionality of the back order processing. Okay, and it will provide the SBC, supply based confirmation, and it will provide the I mean, interactively you can promise the dates if you are ongoing BOP is not satisfying. So release first strategy, these are all the some of the functionalities, okay, which AATP offers. We'll go one by one at the higher level what each functionality is. Okay, let's start with the PAC. PAC means product availability check. Okay, so in SD also we have the basic ATP. There also we'll do the availability check. Okay, so how a PAC is different from that? So for example, Ankur, so if you are if you are setting sorry, if you are setting up the ATP for your sales order, generally what we do at the higher level, what we do generally, Ankur or Uday or Niranjan, if you want to.
You get the order confirmation. We just look for how many goods, how much stock do we have in our storage location, and We just add the inbound stock movements, whatever we have, and we subtract it from the outgoing one. So we will get the total availability of the stock. So these the general defining scope of check. So what receipts and what stock we need to consider for the to
Yeah,
get the
I think
confirmation.
we need to define the scope of check, right? So what are the
Yeah.
receipt elements I need to consider when I'm promising the any requirement, right? So here the PAC also same as your local ATP which is there in ERP. Okay, the slight difference which we get in the PAC is it whenever you are defining the scope of check. Okay, so in the OVZ9 will there is one interface you will check box it one by one. Okay, but when it comes to PAC, the major difference is for each and every requirement or the receipt. Okay, there is a category. If it is a sales order, the category name is BM. Okay, if it is a planned order, there is one category. If it is a forecast, the category is FERFC. Okay, for each and everything there is a categories are there. So with respect to the categories, you need to group your what are the things you are considering as a requirement, what are the things you are considering as a receipts. Okay, under your scope of check. So that is the mainly the difference which you get in the PAC, and the rest of the basic ATP how it works in the ERP. Okay, or DCCs, the same thing will work here also. Okay.
So Karthik, the one which you are referring, the category, is it there in the OV's OV9 side?
Yep. So in the scope of check, we have the additional things. OVZ9 is the regularly used scope of check, right? Before that, we have some other transactions where you will set up which things I want to consider as a requirement, which things I want to consider as a receipt elements. On top of that, OVZ9 will work.
So, I mean, like, where do we define that one? Is it that in in PAC? Because as per my understanding, PAC, I mean, like, in terms of ATP part, is just only one config we need to do, whether it's relevant for ATP or not. Our availability check, zero
Yeah,
one or zero two
exactly.
or SPS.
So it is same what we do in the normal product availability check. The same thing we need to do, but defining consideration of the receipt or the consideration of the requirement, there is a slight difference. Okay, that anyway we'll see when we are going into the actual training part. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So the next kind of functionality which AATP offers is a product allocation. So in the case of PSC, what it will do if some requirement comes, okay, it will read your stock situation or the receipts situation. Against that, it will promise your customer order. If there is no receipt elements, then it won't confirm it. Okay, and it will leave unconfirmed. Okay, so if let us say you have a stock of 100. Okay, so there are three customers, C1, C2, and C3. Okay, customer 1 comes with a requirement of, let us say, 100. Okay, so as the stock is 100, what will happen? It will straight away fulfills your customer demand, right? Your customer sales order. Now C2 comes with a requirement, let us say, 50. Okay, as the stock is not available, okay, it won't confirm it, because already whatever the 100 stock is there, it is already consumed by the C1 as it comes first. And C3 again, it comes with a requirement, let us say, 50. Again C3 also, it didn't get the any confirmation. But for your process, okay, C2 is the important customer to you. Okay, as it came little late to the C1 customer, due to that there is no stock available to fulfill this customer demand. Okay, so when you are going in a plain PSC, whenever the order registered, okay, so which are the order registered first, it will read your receipts, and against that it will confirm it straight away. Okay, So when the priority orders comes late, okay, when the orders coming late, whatever the orders which comes earlier, which already consume the stock, by the time you don't have any stock to fulfill that customer. So in order to avoid this, we have a concept called product allocation. So here, with the simple example with respect to the customer, okay, if you limit this, okay, whenever he comes, okay, whether it's the first or the last, this is the a maximum limit of for the confirmations. Okay, so let us say I will define against these three customers the allocation as a 50, 25, and 25. Okay, this is the maximum allocations which the each customers will get it. Okay, now the same scenario again, if I go with the PAL and this is the allocation, so my final confirmation, what it can be, any one of you, this existing stock is 100 and C1 comes with a requirement of 100. Okay, how much it is going to confirm?
50, right? Like based on the
Yeah,
ATP.
yeah, it will confirm, it will do the ATP and it observes that under stock is available. Okay, it can confirm 100, but on top of that we have maintained the allocation. Okay, so 100 will be restricted to the 50, the final confirmation will be 50. So even the customer comes first but with a requirement quantity of 100, which is can be matched with the help of with the available stock, but still it is restricted to the 50 by considering the other customers. So now C2 comes with a requirement of 50. Okay, so we have a open stock of 50, right? So and there is a limit of 25, max it can confirm 25 only, so 25 will be assigned here, and C3 comes last and it is also gets the 25. Okay, in the earlier case what happened, C2 C3 didn't get the confirmation at all, as existing stock is completely consumed by the C1 as it comes first. Okay, so this is how with the help of the allocation you can set a maximum limit to the order confirmations so that all the other customer orders can get the confirmations. Clear? This is how the product allocation will work. Any doubts here? So this PAL will be supported, one of the future which aATP delivers. The next kind of functionality which aATP delivers is the ABC, alternative based confirmation. So what it will do is, if the customer comes with a requirement, let us say for the product P1 at location L1, for the, let us say he comes with a requirement 100. Okay, so at location 1 you don't have any stock. Okay, so if you are going with a normal PAC, what will happen? It won't confirm anything. So let us say you have L1, you have a stock of 0, and L2 you have a stock of, let us say, 100. There are two locations in your supply chain network. Okay, so at L1 one sales order registered with a requirement of 100. Okay, if the stock is not available, it won't be confirmed. But in the case of ABC, what will happen, so it will look for the alternative location within your supply chain network. As the stock is not available at L1, it will verify in another location, that is L2, let us say. So it is having a stock 100. So it will confirm your sales order against L2 location.
Karthik, like location here means the storage location or it's a plant? Like,
Right now, whatever the example I considered, it's a plant.
okay.
So ABC supports both storage location substitution or the location substitution. Both the things it will be supported. Okay.
Okay.
And this is how, if the requirement, whatever the requirement, you get it at one specified location, if the stock is not available at the respective location, it can switch to the alternative location and will fulfill the customer demand. Okay, so basically it's a location substitution. And we have one more functionality under ABC, that is a product substitution. Suppose customer comes with a requirement for the P1 at L1 location. Okay. Now, if for the product P1 there is no stock available, okay, then it will look for the alternative products. Okay, if the customer is okay to deliver the other product rather than the P1, if the P2 is okay, PT is also same kind of features are there as like P1. So if the customer is okay with that, it can fulfill customer demand with the help of the P2. Okay, so this is called product substitution. So whenever the stock is not available at the required location for the required product, it will look for the alternative location or the alternative products so that you can able to fulfill the customer demand on time. Okay, so this kind of functionality which aATP supports under ABC, alternative based confirmation. So clear what ABC means? Any doubts so far?
Karthik, if you don't mind, can you repeat again? I missed some part.
Yeah. So ABC means alternative based confirmations. Okay, what it will do is whenever you comes with a requirement at the base product or the base location, okay, if the stock is not available, it will look for the alternative products or alternative locations where the stock is available. Okay, and from that location or with that alternative product, the customer demand or the sales order will be confirmed. Clear?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So the next kind of functionality which aATP offers, okay, that is SBC, supply based confirmation, or we call it as SCC also. So what it will do is, so let us say a product P1 is there at L1 location, sales order 1 is registered with a requirement of 100, okay, and stock is not there, zero stock for the at L1 location. Okay, so now if you're going with the plain PSC, what will happen? So it will wait until the receipts comes, and against the receipt, you re-trigger the ATP, it will give the confirmation. Okay. So with the help of SBC, what will happen? Whenever the requirement comes, if the stock is not available, okay, immediately it will generate the receipt element. Okay, if it is in-house, immediately it will generate the planned order. Against the planned order, it will give the confirmation to the your requirement. Okay, if it is external procurement, immediately it will generate the purchase requisition. Against the purchase requisition, it will give the confirmation to your sales order. So it won't wait for the planning run to generate the receipt elements against your requirement. It will only automatically create. So if the stock is not available, automatically it will create, and against that it will give the confirmation to the requirement. So that's what you will do via SBC. Okay, so generally we call this as ATP with the production. So if the stock is
This is
not available, immediately it will generate a receipt element. Yeah,
this is supply based confirmation, like the abbreviation.
yeah, supply based confirmation. So this is also one of the functionality which aATP offers. Let's move on to the next functionality which aATP offers, that is back order processing, BOP. Does anybody know about the back order processing?
Yeah, it unconfirms the unpriored customers and confirms to the priored customers, whatever the important customers.
So generally, a back order means the order which is not confirmed, right? So here, what we'll do is in the back order processing, whatever the set of requirements you have, okay, first you need to filter that, and in which sequence you need to allocate the confirmation. Okay, so whenever the order is getting registered, there may be initial confirmations. Okay, in the BOP, what we'll do is as per our business priorities, we'll reallocate the the requirements by against your supply. Okay, so what it will do is, first, with the help of the segment, okay, so it will filter all the requirements for which products or which location you want to consider the requirements for the BOP. All the requirements it will gather. Once the requirements are gathered, now as per your business priority, let us say based upon the sales order priority, or based upon the requirement date, okay, or based upon the any let us say channel wise, you want to give the confirmation. Whatever the business priority you have, all the requirements will be sorted. Let us say we have a sales order 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Okay, so it has a delivery priority. Let us say 1, this is 2, and this is 1, and this is 3. Okay, if once you filter all the letter here, in this case there are 4 requirements are there, so it will filter those requirements for the provided product location combination. Now as per the sorting criteria, it will sort it. Okay, so with respect to the sorting, what will be the final requirement? So the first SO2, then SO3, then SO1, and SO4. So whatever the requirements you got it, that first it will arrange it in a sorting order. So now against the each requirement, it will refer the supply and give the confirmation. So first it will give the confirmation to SO2, and then it will move to the SO3, and then it will move to SO2, and then it will move to S4. In this fashion, it will give the confirmation. So basically, BOP is the mass confirmation tool, but it will follow certain sorting criteria to fulfill the demand. Clear? Any doubts here with respect to the BOP? Ankur, Uday, Niranjan?
So
I'm good.
in BOP, do we have something called a fallback variant? What is the purpose of that one? I mean, like, if in case you can give some highlight on that part.
Yeah, sure. So in the BOP, so there are multiple strategies are there. Okay, so in the BOP we have win, gain, fill, okay, and the lose. So there are certain strategies are there like that. Okay, so you have created one set of segment. The segment means where you filter your requirements, and with the specified sorting you created one segment. Okay, so which strategy you want to go ahead? Suppose I want to go with the win. It has its own functionalities. Win, what will do, it will always try to fulfill the customer demand at any cost. Okay, if it is not able to fulfill it, what will happen? As per the nature of that strategy, it will fail. Okay, win is always whatever the requirements are there, it has to fulfill all those things, otherwise it will fail. Okay, in those cases, okay, instead of leaving those sales orders or the requirement as it is, you can look for the other way of fulfilling that orders. If the win is not worked, then go for the other strategy. Let us say redistribute. Okay, if something is not working, go for the other thing. That's what exceptional handling. So whenever certain exception occurs, okay, then we'll look for the another way. That's the fallback variant. If one variant is failing with the respective strategy, we'll look for the other strategy with a respective segment. Clear? That's what the fallback. Though those details we'll see in detail when we are going into the training part. Clear, Ankur?
Yeah, yeah.
So now next functionality which SAP offers, that is release for delivery, ROD. So what it will do is, so generally let us say every day night you are scheduling the back order processing. Okay, so as per your business priorities, it will assign the confirmations to the all the requirements. Okay, so if so in the month end situation, in urgent cases, you need to fulfill certain customer demands, okay, by taking away the confirmation of the other orders. Okay, so there the release for delivery functionality comes into the picture. Okay, in emergency cases or the month-end situations, to manually take away the confirmation from the other orders and assign it to the your required orders. Okay, interactively if you are doing it, and immediately generating the delivery against your required customer order. Okay, so that process you can do with the help of the release for delivery. Okay, so instead of waiting for the back order processing to promise the delivery date against your requirements, it will straight away with the specified products or the specified requirements, you can manually distribute your distribute your confirmation against your requirements and immediately generate the deliveries against the confirmed requirements. So that will be handled via release for delivery. Okay, clear? So these are the some of the functionalities which aATP offers to manage the order fulfillment process. So with
Kartik, I have a few
Mhm.
questions.
Yeah, yeah,
I
go
mean, like
ahead.
there is a one more functionality which we call it SUP, right? Supply protection. Are we
Yeah,
going to cover that one as well?
yeah. Thanks for remembering. So we have one more functionality called supply protection. Okay. So what it will do is, in the PAL, what we are doing, we are setting the higher limit. Okay. Whenever the customer comes, okay, even if the customer comes first with a higher requirement, but it has its own limits. Okay. After that, it can't fulfill it. If C1 is there, okay, it fulfilled up to 50 only. That is a maximum limit. Okay. In the case of supply production, you are guaranteeing the minimum confirmation. Whenever you comes, okay, the 20 will be there for you. That is a minimum. Okay, on top of that you will get as per the stock availability, but the at least the minimum confirmation for your requirement will be 20. So against your segments, you are going to protect your stock, existing stock, you are going to protect it. Okay, and whenever that customer comes, you will utilize that. Okay, let us say customer one, if you are doing at the customer level, customer 1 and customer 2, customer 3. Okay, you protected 20 here, and you have protected 20 here, and you protected 20 here. Okay, let us say 30. Okay, you have a stock of 100. So now for C1, what is the visible ATP? For the C1, I have blocked 20 against C2 and 30 against C3. The minimum guarantee means you are blocking that, right? So 20 and 30. So 50 is blocked against the C2 and C3. The remaining ATP for the C1 is how much? 50, right? That is the maximum it can get the confirmation. Are you guys with me?
Yeah, yeah, clear, clear.
Yeah.
So it will get the maximum confirmation of 50. Suppose if you are standing at the C3 level, okay, if this customer order comes first, okay, so now we have a stock of 100, okay, out of that 100, 20 is blocked for the C1, 20 is blocked for the C2. So available open stock for the C3 is 60, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's what the supply protection. Okay, you are guaranteeing the minimum confirmation. You are protecting your stock against the respective combinations, so that whenever they comes, they have their own stocks. Okay, it can't be eaten by any other customers. Okay, that's
It's
what the functionality is there on the SUP.
uh, so one thing, Karthik, maybe when this stock is reserved, right? It's kind of a reserving the stock to a particular customer. So when the BOP, after this the BOP runs, right? So it runs based on all the strategies. So that time again it can change, or it still like it is
So
20 remains.
SAP will still be supported in the BOP. Okay. So it will read your production quantities. If your SUP is there, then it will read your production quantity, and as per that only it will do it. If you're talking about SUP. So if you're talking about the normal, If suppose
Okay.
there are S41, S42 which is registered manually, at that time some confirmations are happened. Okay, but when you are going with the backorder processing, if you are going with a redistributive strategy, okay, then
Okay.
whatever the confirmations are there, it will cancel all those confirmations. Okay, and freshly it will allocate as per the sorting criteria.
Okay. This is for kind of a normal scenario, but in case of SUP, it will still like 20. If I run redistribute also, it will be there. Right?
Yeah.
Like SUP is still okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So these are the some of the functionalities which aATP offers. So well, in the training we'll discuss all those things. We'll set up and we'll see how it is going to work, each and everything. What is PAL, how to set up, what are the different types of PAL,
Karthik,
ABC, all
one
those
more
things.
question I have for SBC part.
Hmm.
SBC or BOP, I would call it as.
Okay.
So, for example, I have a requirement from the customer,
Hmm.
and that customer, I am doing it as a SBC part where I am creating a production order, and from that production order, I
Generally,
am doing the
planned
routing
order will be
routing part.
generated, production order won't be generated. So with the help of SBC, planned order only generates if it is in-house.
Okay, yeah, in-house one.
Yeah.
Now, what happened? Like whatever changes I am doing in my production order or planned order, whatsoever it may be in SBC, are
Mhm.
these going to get updated via BOP in my sales order?
Yeah,
For
obviously.
example,
Suppose
my
yes, yes. Suppose you have created a sales order SO1. At that time, there is no stock. Okay, it generated a planned order. Okay, and with the specified receipt date, and against that receipt date, your sales order will get the confirmation. Right. So now you manually changed the planned order with the different dates or something. You changed it. Okay. So when you are doing the BOP, okay. So if you are going with a redistribute, okay, so there is a chances that this planned order may not be packet to the this one, because maybe the higher priority, if this is a higher priority, if the stable stock is there, then it will be packet that. Otherwise it will read your planned order receipt date, and against that it will give the confirmation. Because when you are dealing with the BOP, it will rearrange your requirements and reassign your requirements. Getting it?
so I mean, like, how does that get updated? Because BOP functionality is to get the step based on a strategy. I am getting a confirmation, right?
Right.
Like my quantity. So how does that BOP plays a role to get those things updated into my sales order?
No,
As
what
per
BOP will do is, you tell me what BOP will do. It will gather the requirements, okay, and it will assign it in the
Mhm.
sorting order. Then the next step is what? It will give the confirmation, right, by reading your stock or the receipts. If the stable stock is there, then with respect to the current date, it will give the confirmation. If the planned orders are there, okay, what is the receipt date against the planned order? That receipt date will be confirmed in the respective sales order. So BOP will do the ATP only, but in a mass with the specified sorting.
So you're saying that we can get those information from my plant order to sales order that can be flowed.
Right, exactly, exactly. So it will refer the planned order is a receipt element, right? So whenever you are doing the BOP, ultimately you need to give the confirmations, right? Ultimately you are doing the ATP only. So if you are doing, instead of doing the online ATP, that is a manual, you are doing via mass, that is BOP. So it will read your received elements. It can be a stock, planned order, or the purchase requisitions. Against that, it will give the confirmation.
Okay. Clear. So are we going to run those scenarios as well in call? I mean, like, okay.
We are going to discuss all those things one by one.
Like, will we do like practicals for this SUP also, like SUP and SBC?
Yeah, everything. So first we start with the thing is like first we need to understand how to activate the aATP, okay, and how to set up your home page in the PRI for the aATP. All those things we'll discuss. How to add the PRI apps, how to activate the PRI apps. All those things we'll discuss in detail. Once you thorough with the activation of the aATP, setting the home page for your aATP, Fiori apps and everything. First, we start with the PAC. Okay, we'll set up and we'll analyze the scenarios. Okay, then we'll move on to the PAL. What are the possible different types of PAL and how to set up? And we'll set up for our own product and we'll visualize the end-to-end results. And then we'll move on to the ABC. We'll configure it. We'll do multiple scenarios in it, and we'll understand the results, how it is going to work. Like that, all the functionality will configure for our product, and we'll see the results. Okay. So in front of you guys only, we'll create a new products. We'll configure against the same.
Okay, got it. So this all the like ATP this topics like it's available in like 1909 or it's in recent versions like SAP has released each version some topic or it's available in all the
Yeah, I
versions.
mean, right now, whatever the training we are going to conduct, that is the 23 thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
whatever the functionalities are there, okay. So all these functionalities are there in 23. So we are going to cover all.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So with this demo is done from my side. If you guys have any doubts, we can discuss. So if not, we can wind up the session for
Uh,
today.
Karthik, one few things from my side.
Mm-hmm.
Karthik, my expectation from this course would be to deep dive rather than giving an overview of aATP part because I understand aATP how all these functionalities work. Okay. The reason I'm looking for this training, I have a requirement in my project for
Mm-hmm.
the aATP. Okay,
Okay.
that's more like that is more related to your automobile industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if we can deep dive more into ATP part, I'm okay with that. But if we are giving an overview and later point of time, if in case we have a conflict, I really don't want to have that situation. I really want to avoid it.
No,
So
no.
clearly calling out my expectation from this course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
sorry, go ahead.
completely understand your point, Ankur. See, as if it is a training, how we'll give the overview, right? That doesn't mean it's a training, right? So we obviously going into the each and everything in detail. We'll discuss, we'll configure, and we'll see the results. No
Yeah,
worry
that's
about it.
fine. Yeah. And are you going to cover the BPS part as well?
Yeah, business process scheduling also will be covered. So that when we are
Okay.
dealing with the PAC or any kind of check, we'll see those results. That is also there.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, like, I'm not sure like how feasible it would be from Expertsoft Institute. Like they said, like it's a 15-hour training, right? But I'm not pretty much confident whether we would be able to complete all these topics in deep dive session within 15 hours. So
Again, it's how you guys are capturing it, how you guys are understanding the concept. Okay, so if suppose you only, if you're understanding the concept very quickly, okay, we will able to finish it. If the understanding going slow, then obviously it is not 15 hours, it is more than that.
But I think Karthik, like in the course this one I saw it's 25 hours, right? I think
Yeah,
not
yeah,
15.
that's what
Okay. So it
it is.
might go beyond that also, based on like what we discuss and how we go.
Yeah, right. It is completely depends upon the audience or the candidates who are there in the training. Okay, with that pace only the training will go.
Mhm.
So, any other queries? Yeah, Uday, tell me. Yeah, Uday, if you are saying something, we are not able to hear you. Uday, you raised your hand, but we are not able to hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Chandis.
Hey, hey, thanks so much. I'm sorry I just joined at the very end of this call.
Yeah.
Hey, Karthik. I have only a few questions. I mean, if you can, I know somebody else is also asking questions. I just joined in the last 5 minutes, and then I wanted to see
Okay. Okay.
if you can explain to me in just 3 minutes what does this product do? How much depth would you be able to go? I am novice to the aATP part of it, not, but I'm looking into fashion retail solution side of it. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you can lay it out to me in 3 minutes that, hey, I'm going to cover XYZ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I saw your the spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, what is it that you mostly cover, and what is it that is not covered in this
Yeah, sure, sure. Definitely. Just a second. So let me quickly share then. Please confirm me once you're able to see my screen.
um,
I'm in Excel.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
I
So
cannot see it for some reason. I'm having only a small.
I guess you have minimized the screen, Shanjis. Okay. You just maximize the Zoho screen.
It's 100%. I have it. Hmm. Caption. I did pop out.
Can you off the camera? Might be your camera is yeah.
Okay,
How about now?
no. Can't make camera, share, leave, and what else? Recording in progress.
so others able to see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, we can.
Switch to desktop. That's what I did, and I'm not able to see why. Let's see.
Are you joining from mobile, Chandish?
No, no. In fact, I'm joining from. I switched over to my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the sliding. Let's see.
Do one thing now. Rejoin once. Okay. Let's wait for 1 minute. Okay.
Full screen.
Please
Actually,
rejoin once.
I did toggle to full screen, but still, it is not good enough. But at least let me see if I can increase the screen size here.
I increased the font size. Now you're able to see.
Yeah, at least I'm able to see there. Yeah.
So currently I am in Excel where I listed down the topics which we are going to cover as a part of the training.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So basically we'll start with the PAC. So how to set up the PAC? Will give you the brief overview of the PAC. How to set up? What are the key points under the PAC which will change the results? Like checking horizon. If you are going with a delivery proposal, how will be my confirmation? If you are going the fill confirmation option, how you are going to get the schedule lines? If you are going with the on-time delivery, how your schedule lines will be updated in your requirement? So all those things will be discussed under the PAC. Okay. So once the PAC is done, then we'll move on to the product allocation. So first we'll understand the overview of the product allocation. So the product allocation will be supported for the sales order and STOs when it comes to aATP. So we'll discuss those things, we'll configure, we'll see how the allocation is happening, how the consumption is working, and then we'll discuss in detail about the collective product allocation also. Okay. Once we are thorough with the product allocation, then we'll move on to the alternative based confirmations. So here we are going to understand the overview of ABC, what is the purpose, in which scenarios we'll go for the alternative based confirmation, and then we are going to discuss about the product substitution, location substitution, or the exclusion. Okay, so those things we'll discuss in detail. So once that is done, we'll move on to the SUP, supply production. So we'll understand in which scenarios we'll go for the SUP, and we'll discuss in detail about the different types of SUP. Majorly, it has horizontal or the core protection, and the second one is a vertical protection or the priority based protection. So these things we'll set up, we'll see the results, we'll understand in detail, and then we'll move on to the backorder processing. And here we are going to understand how to create your BOP segment, what are the different BOP strategies we have, how each strategies will behave when you're going for the BOP, and how it is going to update the results. Okay, here only we are going to discuss about the exceptional handling also with the help of the fallback variant, all those things. We'll see, we'll do the simulations, we'll see the actual updation of the BOP results. And once the BOP is done, how to monitor those results. All those things we'll discuss in the backorder processing. And once that is done, next we'll move on to the release for delivery and how to set up it, how to leverage the functionality of the release for delivery RFD we'll discuss. Okay. And then at last we'll move on to the SBC. And this is like ATP with the production. If the stock is not available, it has to generate the receipt element against your requirement. And whatever the receipt date of your receipt element, it will give the confirmation to the your requirement on top of it. Now, finally, we'll discuss about the business process scheduling. So this is like where if you have on top of your material availability date, if you have picking, loading time, transportation time, if you want to consider that when you're proposing the delivery in the schedule lines, then we'll use the BPC. So these are the contents, these are the topics which we are going to cover as a part of the training.
Mhm. What is it that is left out of? Is anything that is left out that we or something that is going to come in future or something that
I
is
mean,
not?
so I have covered the most of the topics, whatever I have listed down here, right? So this is there in the our SAP documents. All those things I have are going to cover. These are the things.
So there is no there is no other topic being left off of. Is that correct?
So there is one concept that supply assignments. Okay, so that we are not going to cover. Okay.
Is supply assignment, which is allocation done, isn't it? ITA.
No, supply allocation is a different thing. So from the retail industry majorly that is being used, so that is not being covered here.
So is that air and ITA or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that is not is being covered
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Is
apart
it
from
is it
that,
not available in it, or is it something that you probably might not be aware of?
so I mean that is very less focus is there on that functionality, and we never used also, and even the developments which SAP is releasing on that particular topic is also very less. So that is a less focused area, and we didn't get a chance to utilize those functionality. And even in normal SAP books are there, right? So in that also not highlighted that much, so we are not included that here.
Hmm. Is there any documentation that you might have that supports that, or you may not have that?
Yeah, support documents are there. Naveen will share you once you enrolled it. So the documents are there.
Okay. So okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So any topics that maybe in future that the because AATP is what it's already like 6 or 7 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is there any have you done any extensions to the existing AATP in terms of taking the standard configuration steps? Sometimes the customers do might need certain enhancements that needs to be done. Have you?
Yeah, I mean, we have done with respect to the product allocation there. We have some, I mean, we have adjusted few bodies to or bring certain characteristics into your allocation criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Okay. All right. So there is a, if you may take some example in that area, you would be able to help us out, right? So how do we extend this? Why the reason why we wanted to extend that? I'm assuming that you might be able to cover that part. And another question that I have is sometimes, people do ask for business process design documents, right? Even if it is standard, they wanted to know some designs. Is there any place where you would be able to help us out through those?
no design documents. I
Like
may not.
they do ask for those design documents, right? Even if it is standard, they do. Uh,
No, design
yeah,
documents, that is completely specific to the projects, right? For that.
understood. But overarching design documents, for example, I'm just.
Sorry. So, I mean, you can create if you stuck somewhere. I can help you with that, but I can't create the business design documents. Okay, but I will help you if you stuck anywhere. If you feel some help is required, I can provide, but I won't provide design documents.
Okay. Okay. So the scenarios you're going to cover in this is that specific to an industry or how is that?
Yeah. Most of the time, we'll take examples from the automobile industry, the
Mhm.
farm sectors. Okay, and sometimes in generic, I will explain.
Okay. So some things could be different, right? For medical industry, it could be a little different. For especially medical manufacturing, for that could be different. And
Right.
so any business case, maybe if you can discuss
Yeah,
them
yeah.
in that.
So
Yeah.
when you are dealing with the protection, let us say supply protection, it's okay. So that may not be useful for the automobile industry. We can leverage that functionality for the retail industry. So depending upon the functionality, which is a suitable industry, so that industry example I will take it as a reference, and accordance with that I will explain the concept.
Yeah. Are you going to touch upon anything with respect to the transportation and or shipment scheduling? Is
So,
there any functionality that
no, I
is
mean,
in?
no, TM, we don't go into the details. We touch base on the BPS. Okay. So, this is where, I mean, on top of your material availability, if you want to consider the extra times like loading, picking, transportation, what are the extra
Yeah.
times you're taking. Okay. So, that information, if you want to bring into the schedule lines, that part we are going to cover.
Okay. And product allocation also you're going to uh,
Yeah,
help
yeah,
us
yeah.
out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, this
I
is
think
the
I'm done with my questions. I don't want to take much of your time, but thanks so much for that extension.
yeah, yeah.
Naveen, I'm done. Thanks.
So, So with this demo part is done. So if you guys have any further queries, get in touch with Naveen. So he will help you further.
Karthik,
Uh-huh.
can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Karthik, so just I have one question. So I'm working as a SD consultant, okay?
Okay,
So
okay.
I don't have any I did not worked any scenarios on ATP in SD
Mm-hmm.
part. Okay,
Okay.
so I can able to understand this terminology, or I want to learn anything
No,
prior to this. Yeah.
no. You can easily understand these terminologies. Okay, as you're from SD, you can easily understand it. There is no further prerequisites.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
one question, Karthik. This is also not for SD, but also it covers MM part.
Even MM people also can learn it. There is no
Yeah, but
difficulties to catch these concepts. Yeah, that is fine.
so this is also useful in the material side also, right? Purchasing
Yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And do you have a use case for that? Or
I mean, so this is where if you want to manage the storage locations for the stock consideration, okay, if one storage location if it is not available, if you want to go for the other storage locations for the stock
Mhm.
fulfillment, so then you can make use of the functionality of ABC.
ABC. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is not only for SD, but also it can be applicable to MM side.
Yeah. So this order promising will be linked with the sales and distribution, production planning, and the manufacturing and execution, and the logistic and transportation. So it is tightly integrated with all these things.
Okay. All right. So how many hours is this course? Sorry.
It will be around 20 to 25, and again it depends upon the pace how you understand the concepts.
Yeah. Are you going to suggest any of us in terms of the config document or anything that you're going to share? Because not all of this could be grasped in this 22, 25 hours time frame. Is there a config document that helps us to, yeah, you know what, this is the step 1 to step n? Do you have anything like that you're going to share?
A few config documents are there which I'm going to share post the respective session is completed.
Correct, of course, yes. Okay. All right, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, that we can conclude the session for today. Thanks everyone. Be in touch with Naveen for the further queries. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Karthik.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Karthik. Thanks all. Yeah.
Thanks all. Bye.
2 minutes, okay, we'll start. There is an audio issue with other participants. Karthik, you can hear me, right, Karthik?
I can hear you now.
Okay, just 2 minutes, Karthik. Okay,
Okay.
Niranjan and Prabhu, they can't hear us. Sai change చేసిండంటనా సాయి చేంజ్ చేయలేడంటనా Niranjan, you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. I joined from phone.
Okay, fine. Prabhudev, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, then now it's perfect to start. Yeah, Karthik, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for the joining. Very good morning to all of you. Okay. Let me quickly share my screen.
Karthik, can we have this today's session for 1 hour? I'm like sorry for confusion and creating inconvenience for everyone. I just need to step out at 10 o'clock urgently, if possible.
Okay, if other candidates are okay with that, then it's fine.
Tomorrow we can start early in morning 7 and then we can continue till 9. That will be fine for me.
The daily timings, what will be the daily timings? Because today it started at 9 and we need to agree on some particular timings, right?
It is on the same time only, 9 only.
9 only, right? Okay. Yeah. So every week it will be Saturday, Sunday at 9, right?
Right.
Okay.
Naveen, is it 9 or it's 7 o'clock it was decided, right?
No, Ankur. I said 8 o'clock, 7:30 or 8 o'clock, but you said that you have night shift something, okay? So we asked everyone, okay? So we made it to 9.
For today only I asked. So if possible, we can. If possible,
Is it
we can,
okay, Karthik? Can we make 8 or 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock would be great. I mean, like, or 7 will be fine.
Okay, 8 is fine with all of you. I mean, Niranjan, Prabhadev.
It's not fine for me. Actually, year time, if it is 8, for me, it will be. 8 means how much here? 6:30 or 6 or 6:30, like it will be.
Okay. So, is it fine for you if we start at 9 or 8:30, something like that? 8:30?
Prabhu, how about 8:30, Prabhu?
Fine, 8:30.
Okay, then let's follow 8:30 then. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Let's follow Saturday and Sunday 8:30. Okay.
Yes.
Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah. So the today's agenda is we are going to understand if you after you took the license for aATP, how to verify whether aATP is properly activated in our system. If you want to activate the aATP, what are the things we need to be set in the system? Okay, so activation of the aATP, and then the next thing we are going to discuss about the Fiori applications. Okay, what are the apps required when you are going with the aATP, and how to activate those apps, how to set up your home page with respect to the aATP Fiori apps. Okay, so activation of Fiori apps and setting up the home page for the same. So in the demo session, we just discussed about or the overview of aATP. What are the functionality we can leverage from the aATP, and how it is different from the normal ATP from ERP. Okay. So now the thing is we are going to discuss about one ATP. Like first we'll start with the PAC. And once you thoroughly understand of the PAC, and then we'll move on to the next ATP check. We'll create our own master data and transaction data. With that, we'll verify one by one ATP check, and we'll try to configure one by one. Okay. So whenever you are going with the aATP, first thing is you need to verify whether aATP business function is activated or not. Okay. So to verify that, so the T code is SFW5. This is a T code where you can verify whether whatever the SAP landscape you got it, whatever the SAP system you got it, whether S4HANA aATP is there or not. If it is there, the respective business function is activated or not. That need to be verified first. So let's quickly log on to our S4HANA server.
So you mean if you want to work on aATP, we need separate license?
Yeah, exactly. It's aATP is a licensed product. Okay, it won't come with the normal S4HANA thing. For example, if you are taking SDPP, the normal execution modules are there, right? When you are opting the license for that, so you won't get the aATP or the PPDS. These will not come as a part of the normal license. You need to pay extra to get the functionalities of the aATP.
Even Karthik, like when we have on-premise solution, still a separate license would require?
Yeah. Whether it is on-premise or the cloud, so when it comes to aATP, you need to pay extra for it. It's a separate license. You won't get the the functionalities of the ATP, but you will get the basic ATP. So whatever in the ERP in earlier days, whatever the ATP is there, right? The basic ATP you will get, but the advanced functionalities of the ATP you won't get with the normal license.
Okay.
So right.
And one more question. If we are opting for the PPDS part, so this ATP will be by default will be coming along with it, right? As a licensing.
Oh
Or
no, two individual licenses. So aATP is a separate license and the PPDS or ePPDS is a separate license. Two individual license. It won't come with a single license. If you want to leverage, for example, we have a functionality called SBC. Okay, it's a combination of your aATP and the PPDS. Okay, if you didn't have the proper PPDS license, you can't set up the SBC scenario in aATP.
so in that case, 3 licenses would be required. One is SBC, aATP, and your PPDS.
Yeah, right. So these aATP and the PPDS is like an add-on or the advanced functionalities, right? So it won't come with the normal license. So when your business process really required to go with the advanced functionality, then you need to take those licenses. So let's SF. Yeah, continue. So here you can verify it with respect to S4HANA aATP, the respective business function is activated or not. Yeah, here you can see. So this is activated, okay, S4HANA aATP. So this is the first thing you need to verify whether it is there or not. If not, then you need to inform the respective basis team to do the necessary activities. Okay. So once this is done, the other thing is when you wanna go with the aATP, so there is one more checkbox we need to activate to use the functionalities of aATP. So that
Karthik,
yeah.
on the same screen, S4H underscore AATP,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, is it activated or not? How can we check? I mean, like,
So this when you are getting this color, right, yellow color, okay, that means it is activated. Okay, if it is a gray color, then it is not activated.
okay. So if we need to deactivate, is just right click and deactivate, right?
Right, right. Yeah. So, but we are not able to do that activity. That will be taken care by the basis only. Directly, you can't do that. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is for the PPDS. This is for the EWM. So next thing is when you are going with the aATP. So I mean, if you are doing with the normal aATP, what is the initial master data we need to have at the material master? the ATP group, right, or ATP check. So from there, when you mention the ATP check 01 or 02 or NP, depending upon that whether to carry out the ATP check for that respective material or not, we are going to decide, right? So that is the initiation point for any material, whether to do the ATP or not. Okay. So when you're enabling any material for the ATP check, okay, with the help of the checking group, okay, so there also you need to enable or activate the ATP functionality. Okay. So just go to SPRO. So here in SPRO, under cross application components, you will find the aATP. Just click on the cross application component. Under cross application component, you can see here advanced available-to-promise. This is where you will get all the relevant configs with respect to the aATP. Okay. So let's go here. PSC. So find availability checking group. So here, if you see, these are the availability checks or checking groups, we call it as. So for example, 02, you are using it. Okay. So if you want to use this for the aATP, this should be activated. You can see there is a separate column called advanced ATP. So when you want to go with the advanced aATP, then against that availability check, you need to activate the aATP. Okay. You mention as active whatever the materials for which you are assigning the 02 in the master data. For those materials, it will carry out the advanced ATP only. If you want to go with the normal ATP, then you need to inactivate it. Clear? Any doubts here?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. So these are the two things you need to verify once S4HANA system is given to you. Okay, whether you are able to do this thing or not, whether changing the drill down button is coming or not, whether to activate or inactivate. Okay, so one is a business functions activation.
Karthik, one thing. So, in real time, right? Like the first activity which we did and this one, both are done by functional.
So
Like
this
basis
business
from
function activation will be taken care by the basis team only. Okay, this we don't do it. But at the ATP check level, I mean availability check level, or the checking group level, we only do that. This is our functional activity.
Okay. Okay.
Karthik, in sales and distribution order to cash level, we generally use two type of availability check, 01 and 02, individual
Right.
and your daily one, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I can see like there are some specific one SRSH. If you go back to the previous screen in SAP, so
Yeah.
are
That
these
is like
relevant?
when you're dealing with the special advanced scenarios like SBC and all. So at that time, you will understand the importance of this. Okay. So this is the standard ATP checks which they provided when you're going with the advanced functionalities.
But for order to cash level for finished product, we generally use 01 and 02. Right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So these two steps are done. Now, before going for any kind of ATP, first let us set up the Fiori apps as well for the whatever the apps which are required for the ATP functionalities. So let us understand how to do that. So then we'll move on to the the ATP checks. Okay, so let's go to the Fieri apps. So how do I know that what are the Fieri apps which are required for the aATP? Where I need to find how to add all those things. So for any thing in S4HANA, if you want to understand about any Fieri application, so we have the Fieri library. If anyone aware of it, Fieri library, S4HANA Fieri library. So
yeah, the Fieri ID and all will be there. Fieri
yeah,
apps.
exactly. So there you will get the app ID and the respective business roles which we need to assign to our user to access the respective app. Okay. So and the whatever the UI5 application components, what are the OData services which are required to activate it, all those things you will get it here. So this is the Fieri library. Okay, all the apps which are relevant to S4 and all the apps will be available. Okay, for example, so review availability check RACRS. This is one of the Fieri applications relevant to aATP. Okay, so now I want to have this Fieri app in my home page. Okay, first of all, how to access the Fieri, okay, from the S4 UI, S4 vScreen. Anyone know the T code to access the Fieri from here? Fieri Launchpad.
This is the with slash UI
Slash n slash FLP.
Slash UI2 slash FLP. Okay, so if you slash UI2 slash FLP, this is the T code to direct to your Fieri Launchpad. Okay, so once you click on that, it will give you a URL to direct to the Fieri library or Fieri screens. So that is this. Okay. So this is the home page of your S4HANA Fieri Launchpad. Okay. So now let us see. For example, review availability check. This is one of the application which is relevant to our aATP. So now just come down here, just click on the implementation information. The moment you click on the implementation information, okay, so there is 5 sections are there, right? Important SAP notes, installation, and the configuration. Just click on the configuration. Okay. So in the configuration, you can find the UI5 applications. Okay. So in order to have this app, okay, in order to access this app in your Fieri, okay, you need to activate all these UI5 applications. Okay. Then only you can able to access. And first of all, in order to see that particular app, okay, is this this OData service you need to activate. Okay, so how do I activate this UI5 application, or how do I activate this OData services which are relevant to my Fieri app? Okay, so for that, in S4HANA only, we have a separate transactions to activate the relevant UI5 applications and the relevant OData services. The T code is SICF /n SICF. This is the T code with which we are going to activate the respective application component. So just see here. So this is one of the application component. Just copy this. Here give the service name. Execute it. So here it is already activated. If it is not activated, this will be in the grayed out. Okay, you need to right click on it and click on the activate service. Okay, the moment you activate the services, then you can able to access that. Okay, so like that, whatever the applications are there, okay, whatever right now here it's 5 UI5 applications are there. All those things you need to activate one by one, going to the SICF transaction and activate one by one. Okay.
So this technical name, is it something which base system will activate or functional can do that?
So this is there are two approaches actually. So first thing is if in your organization the basis team is handling it, most of the time it will be handled by the basis team only. In urgent cases or the important cases, we do this activity. Okay, so if the basis team is carrying out this activity, what we need to give is, so for each and every application, for each and every PD application, we have the app ID. Okay, so we need to note down the respective app IDs. All the app IDs you need to give it to the basis team at the respective PD guy. So he will do the whatever the activities I'm telling, right? He will carry out these activities. Okay. So no need to do at our level. So this is for our understanding only, so that if any in any case, if you want to immediately activate certain PD applications, you can directly go ahead and do it. Okay, instead of waiting for the respective guy to carry out an activity.
These are system client, I would say, like system level, right? It is not a TR oriented. So that has to be done in every system individually.
Right, right. So these things, the activation of UEFI application and OData services, yes, we need to do it under each landscape. It will not be carried out with the help of the TR.
Karthik, can you just show that activation again? I just missed you.
Sure. I'll show you. So if the basis team is doing this activity, then you need to give these app IDs to them, so that they will take out all these UEFI applications and the OData services. Then they will activate these things. So
okay.
So just copy this technical name. Go to the T code called SICF. SICF. Okay. Just give the service name here.
Okay.
And execute. The moment you execute it, so this will come. Okay. Generally, if it is not activated, so this will be in the grayed out format. Okay. Right now it is in a black color. If not, it will be grayed out. So you need to right click on it and click on the activate service. Okay. The moment you click on activate service, it will be activated.
Okay.
Karthik,
Thank you.
in my experience, just want to share to the team, like we have a public and a private cloud, right? So SAP takes care for such kind of activities already if we have taken up the license for aATP or PPDS or SPC whatsoever, right? So I think SAP team will do this activity, right?
No. So this is at our level only. So this accessing of the Fieri things, this is not the SAP activity. It is our activity only. Even if you take a private or the cloud.
And public cloud, it will be activated automatically, right?
Yeah.
Because SAP owns that one.
Yeah.
Do we have the list of those applications of Fiori app which would be required for aATP?
Yeah, I will tell you one by one.
Correct. Like if let's say like while activating, right, we are activating. If any issue occurs, then the basis team will support us on this, or the Fiori consultant or someone.
So the primary responsibility lies with the basis team only. Okay. So whatever the activation which I am talking, this is their thing only. Okay. So I'm just explaining so that we should have an idea. So if in future some if immediately you want to verify one application, instead of waiting for the basis team to carry out that activity, you can do on fly. Okay. So that you can verify what are the functionalities it is delivering it. in this particular app. Okay.
Okay.
For example, this is one more Fieri app, which is relevant to our aATP. Okay, the same thing. Just go to the configuration. Just verify the UEFI applications and OData services. Okay, and then come down. So this is the business role. Access that particular app. Okay, so the process is like get the business role. Okay, second thing is get the business role and assign it to the user, and second one is activation of UI5 applications, and third one is activation of OData services. Okay, so these are the 3 steps to have those Fieri apps in our home base. Okay, so if you take this app, okay, configure product allocation. So this is the role you should have it. Okay, then only you can able to see in your S4HANA Fieri, S4HANA URL here. You can able to see it, but you can't access this until unless you do this activity. Okay, first to see that app in your Fieri, first you need to have this role. Okay, just take this role and go to this. You are familiar, right? SU01, and in the roles you just need to assign it. Okay, clear this part?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
whatever the apps are there, first thing is you need to get the role out of it. That role you need to assign it to your user. Now once you assign the role, you can able to see the apps, but you can't able to access it. So to access that, you need to activate the UEFI application and the OData services. So to activate the UEFI application, the T code is SICF, and to activate the OData service, okay, so the T code is /IWFND/maintain service. So this is the T code to activate the OData service. /IWFND/maintain service. Right. So here you need to add that service and activate. The first thing is whether that service already there or not. You need to go to find and search for it. Okay, it is already there. Okay, it is already there. So if not there, then you need to click on the add service and provide that service name here. Okay, so here if you provide that, it will give you it, and you can add the selected service. Okay, so this is the third step you need to follow. Okay, first thing you need to go to the Fieri library. What are the app you wanted? Just search for that app, and from there you need to get the business role, and you assign it to your user. And the second step, you need to get the UEFI application component, activate in the GUI screen. And the third step, get the OData services, and that is also activated in the GUI screen. So these are the 3 steps you need to follow to properly access the respective Fiori app in your URL. Clear?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So now, once you have done all these activities, okay, just go to home page. Yeah. So you are able to have the access and you are able to see that, but so like for example here DDMRP is there, like that all the relevant apps you can't able to set it up here. So for that you need to set up your own home page. To do that, so just click on this and click on the edit current page. Okay, just click on the edit current page. So here you can add one by one section. For example, here DDMRP is there. Under this section, whatever the relevant Fiori apps are there, you can assign all those Fiori apps here. Similarly, you can create a separate section. For example, here PPDS section is there. Whatever the relevant PPDS apps are there, here you can assign it. So similarly, if you want to create your own section, okay, let us say aATP. Okay, so just create that section, okay, and click on the add tiles. Click on the add tile. So now here, all the apps, you will get it. Okay, so these ATP is there, right? These are all the apps which are relevant to your ATP. Okay, so you can either you can search it here and you can verify at the left hand side the categories. Okay, one by one. For example, I want to see the product allocation. So these are the apps which are relevant to the product allocation. You can, if you want to add it to your home page, just click on the plus button. Okay, this again plus button. So the moment you click on the plus button, it will add it to your section, whatever the section you have created, right? So it will be added to that section. Just click on go back. So now you can see under this, use what are the relevant apps are there, you are able to see it. So if you click on close, you can see all those apps are there under aATP. Okay. So similarly, if you want to delete this section, you just select it and delete it. So it will delete. Okay. This is how you can adjust your home page. What are the apps you want to have it on your home page? You can set and add it. Okay. So now if you see my home page, okay, I have added all the aATP apps section, I mean, based upon the aATP check one by one. So product allocation, what are the Fiori apps are required? I have added here. Okay. So for the ABC to carry out, what are the Fiori apps are required? I have added here. For release for delivery, whatever the activities, whatever the Fiori apps are there, I have added. So I have created, instead of creating a common section, I have created a section with respect to each functionality. Okay. For supply production, I have created one more section. Under that, what are the relevant Fiori apps are there, I have added here. For the BOP and for the BPS. Okay. Like that, you can add your Fiori apps under your home page. Clear? How to set up your home page with your required Fiori apps? Any doubts here?
Yeah, no.
No.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we'll add the basic Fiori apps to handle the sales order, that is VA01 and VA02 also. Let us add that. So you can create VA01, VA02. Okay. So go back. And close it. Okay. Now I have the basic sales order T codes also there. Okay. all the relevant apps also there in my home page. So do you guys get the S4HANA user ID at your end? Niranjan Ankur? You guys receive?
Not yet.
Got it. Please.
So once you received your user IDs, okay, just set up your home page. Okay.
Okay.
I will share you the list of free apps which need to be added to your home page. I will share you the list of apps, all those things, and the app IDs also I will provide. Okay, so that you can directly go here and you can search that app ID and get the assign it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, let's come here. This is done. So first, let us start with the basic availability check. Okay. So to carry out the basic availability check, so the first functionality of aATP, that is product availability check, or the PAC, right? So in general, in order to carry out the aATP for your product, what are the things we need to maintain or you need to be in place in the system? Forget about aATP. In general, the basic aATP, if you want to carry out, what needs to be done?
The material master availability check should be.
Right.
It should be planning like PD or.
Okay. Okay. What else?
Then I think schedule line category we have this requirement assembly and I think availability check. So that should be activated.
Right. Right. At the schedule line category level, it should be available for the ATP. ATP should be activated at that time. And MRP type plus item category. So with respect to that, also you need to have the ATP activation, right? What else?
Transfer of requirement should be initiated.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, when we are talking about this item category plus MRP type level, you need to activate the ATP means at the time of that only the TOR also will be activated. So now apart from these things, any other things we need to be in place to carry out the basic ATP?
So I mean, like basic, we can have backward forward scheduling, the lead time, right?
But to carry out that, the first thing is you need to have a checking group or the availability check, right?
Yeah, checking group.
So the 01, 02, so whatever it is. So if it is no check, then NC or NP. Okay. So now, as Niranjan mentioned in the config, it should be activated against your item category plus MRP type, and ATP should be activated. And at the schedule line category level also, it should be activated. So that is also done. So now, for your product, okay, in order to have the ATP, so you need to assign this checking group to your material, right? So once that is done, so you have assigned this checking group to your material. Now you need to tell, right, at what level, I mean, for which transaction data you wanna create, you wanna verify the ATP. Is it for the sales order or while doing the delivery or when you are performing the planned order level component check or the production order? So that will be decided by which functionality or which data. Checking rule, right? Have you heard about checking rule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Checking rule are the, in aATP terminology, we call it as a business scenario. So Do you want to trigger the ATP at the sales order level? Then it is A. If you want to do it at the delivery level, then it is B. If it is for the planned order, production order, then it is PP, right? So for each and every scenario, there will be one checking rule. So now for your product, okay, and when you are carrying out when you are creating a sales order, I want to trigger the ATP. So now with the help of the checking group and the checking rule, you are deciding it. Okay, but what stocks I need to consider, what receipt elements I need to consider to carry out this ATP, right? That information you need to provide, right? When you're triggering the ATP at the sales order level for your respective product, I need to verify which stocks I need to consider or which receipts elements I need to consider along with the requirements, existing requirements, right? So that will be set up with the help of the scope of check, right? Are you guys with me?
Yes. All
So,
that.
Karthik, scope of check is a combination of checking group and checking rule, right?
Right, exactly. So once you have the checking group and once you have the checking rule, now with the help of these two, we are going to decide the scope of check. It's a checking group plus checking rule. This is where you are going to tell whatever the receipts I need to consider, which stock I need to consider. All those details will be there. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now what we'll do is just verify whether any existing checking groups are there, checking rules are there, okay, and the scope of check is in place or not. Then after that, we'll create our own master data and the transactional data, and with that, we'll try to do the PSC, the basic ATP, okay.
Karthik, can I ask one question here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe that is too early to ask.
Yeah.
Checking rule is getting determined, like we define A or B in case of sales order delivery, right? Checking group we assign at material master data level, right? 0, 1, 0, 2.
Yeah.
Right. Now, how come MRP plays role in between these two? I'm not clear on that. Maybe I'm asking too early that question.
How come MRP plays a role means?
So we define your schedule line based on your item category and MRP type, right? How this MRP plays a role in determining my availability check? Does it play any kind of role or not here? I have a confusion. So MRP has a altogether different role here in aATP.
So MRP, what it will do is it will do the net requirement calculations. The basic core functionality of MRP is, so if any requirements are there, let us say SO1, SO2, like that, whatever the requirements. So for example, here the requirements only the sales orders. So now what it will do is it will look at all the requirements on one side. It will verify all the receipt element on another side. Okay. So now whether do I need to propose the new receipt elements or not? So if there are 5 sales orders are there, already stock is 10 stock is there. Okay. What MRP will do is, okay, I have a requirements of 9 and the receipts of 10. So the net requirement calculation is still in positive. So it won't generate any new receipt element. Okay. So MRP just verify the requirements versus receipts. That's it. So if it is not, if the requirement is greater than your receipt elements, then it will simply generate the new receipt element. If it is in-house, then planned order will be produced. If it is external, the purchase requisition will be generated. Okay. So it won't go into your sales order and say that by this time you are going to get the confirmation. It won't do the ATP at the sales order level. It just do the net requirement calculation, and in accordance to that, it will generate the receipt elements for you. That's it. Okay.
So
But
based
if
on
you go
those,
to the sales orders, okay, the SO1 will be delivered at so and so time. SO2 will be delivered on so and so time. That ATP at the sales order level will not be done by the MRP. It's just purely a planning run to generate the receipt element against your requirements.
but whatever the planned order or production order or purchase order we are creating, based on the dates which are getting updated in those orders, those can be replicated to my sales order, right?
That's the next step. That's where the ATP comes into the picture. So once the receipts are generated, now you will go to the sales order one. Okay. So you trigger the ATP in the sales order one. Now, whatever the receipts element which MRP generated, okay. So let us say it generated one planned order. The planned order end date is on, let us say, June 5th. So now when you trigger the ATP, the planned order end date is on 5th. Your sales order confirmation will be on the 5th.
So when you say we trigger ATP at sales order level, what does it mean? Like we change the quantity and put it again, or like is it a batch job or back order processing we do it?
It can be a online ATP check or it can be a BOP. But in general, at the starting stage, I'm saying just go to VA02 and select the item, and there is a separate checkbox for a separate button for to carry out the ATP. Okay. So the moment you click on that, that's what the ATP means. I'm carrying out the ATP means. If you trigger that, it will verify your receipt elements, and against that, it will give the confirmation.
Clear.
So let us verify the checking groups. Go to SPRO. So just go to the cross application components. Advanced Available-to-Promise. Define availability checking groups. Here, 01, 02, all things are there. So aATP also activated. Okay, we are going to use the either 01 or 02 for our materials. So this is there. Now, the sales orders here. This is for your item category and the MRP type. With respect to that, what is the requirement type has to be triggered. So, okay, all this basic ATP settings only. Okay, so whether you want to carry out the availability check for certain schedule line categories or not. So this is also again where you need to enable the availability check or not. Okay, so again at the requirement type level. So at the requirement class level also, we are going to assign whether you want to carry out the availability check or not. Okay. So these are the things. However, it is there in the normal SD ATP, basic ATP. The same thing here also will be there. Okay. So all things are there now. Go to the PSC. So business scenario means the checking rule only. Okay. In GATP or aATP terminologies, we call it as a business scenario, but in general, it is a checking rule. So 01, 02, A, B, EP. Okay, these are the regularly used checking rules. Okay, so the required things already there. You can leverage all those things. Now here, the configure scope of availability check. So this is for the where you didn't activate the aATP. For example, CH is a checking group where the aATP is not activated. For that, the normal ATP, normal scope of check should be available, right? This is where you set up your normal ATP where you want to define the scope object. This is how the screen looks like. But when you are going with the aATP for your checking group, your scope of check will be different. So just click on this. This is where you will define the scope of check for the aATP products. So this is how it looks. For example, 02A, our checking group is 02, and the business scenario is a sales order. Just click on this. This is the initial screen of the scope of availability check. So when you are carrying out the ATP for your requirement, let us say sales order, what are the stocks I need to consider? So just click on the stocks. So all types of stocks will be there. Whether you want to consider safety stock, stock in transit, unrestricted stock. Okay. So all those things you can verify it here. And what are the receipts element I need to consider? Then you need to choose it here. So these are all the receipt elements whether you want to consider when you are carrying out the ATP. Okay. So what are the requirement elements I need to consider? So these are all the requirement elements. So for each and every requirement at the receipt or the stock category, there stocks, there will be a separate category here. So which one you want to consider in the scope of check, which you don't want to consider, accordingly you need to enable here. Okay. Clear?
Yeah. What is that requirement? Requirements are.
So when you are doing the scope of check, okay,
Yeah.
suppose you are carrying out the sales order level ATP check. Okay, you have a sales order 1, and your stock says, let's say 10 is there. Okay, and you have a STO also. That is also a requirement, stock transfer requisition. Okay, so against that also you need to do the ATP. So now you have created one sales order, and as a stock is available, so 10 is the thing, and stock is available 10. Okay, so 10 will be confirmed. Now there is one STR created for the same plan with the requirement of 10. In the requirement, if I didn't include sales order, okay, so what will happen is it won't refer whether other sales order is already consumed this stock. Okay, so STR believes that SO1 is not a requirement in the scope of check. Okay, STR believes that this stock is empty. I mean, this stock is not utilized. Okay, it will take away and give the confirmation to this. Okay, this will lead to the over confirmations. So whatever the requirements are there in your process, all those requirements should be considered when you are doing the ATP. Right?
Okay.
So that's where you have to define it here. What are the requirements, possible requirements? Whether it's a sales order or the stock transfer order or any reservations you have. Okay, all those things you need to decide here. Clear?
Okay. Yes. Thanks.
Yeah. Can you tell me about receipts also? Receipts means it's a goods receipt or what?
Means it's a planned order, production order. Okay, so receipts means which is not a stable stock. Okay, so which you are planning and which is going to come in the near future. So it can be a planned order. So planned order is not directly not consumable, right? It will take some time to convert to your stock. So that's what we call as a receipts. Okay, receipts can be a planned order, a production order, or the controls. Okay, all those things.
Okay.
So Karthik, we can say like stock plus receipt minus requirement equals to my available stock, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
And this part, the current screen, where we have this future supply, delayed supply, quantity distributed.
Right. I
So
will explain.
in normal ATP also we have the same, but here I can see we have less number of fields.
Yeah, right, exactly. So if you see other screen where I have, let me open it. This is the normal ATP screen. Okay, where you will checkbox what are the stocks or the requirements you need to consider. Okay, so but when you are going the aATP, there is a categories for each and every requirement or the receipts. Okay, but here you just need to manage in this screen only. Okay, this is one of the major difference. Okay, so now here, so when you are considering the future supply, okay, so for example with respect to the STO, so one STO is going to come, the stock transfer requisition, when you convert, it's a control. So there, so against the STO, if you are confirming any requirement, okay, so STO is created for 10 quantity. Okay, out of 10 quantity, 5 may be confirmed, 5 is not confirmed. Okay, so when you're considering this STO as a receipt element for your requirements, do I need to consider 10 as a receipt to check against our requirement, or only 5? Because 5 only confirmed out of 10. Okay, so that's where you can choose it here. The future supply, when you have the future supply, which is in the form of STO, when you're considering that as a receipt element for your requirement, do I need to consider the required quantity which is there in STO, or do I need to consider the confirmed quantity in the STO? So that you are going to decide it here. Clear?
What is the difference between confirmed and the requested one?
So requested STO can be created for 10 quantity, let us say. Okay, 10 quantity, still it is not confirmed at the supplying plant level. Okay, so still supplying plant didn't confirm that I am going to give the 10 quantity there. Okay, and if I simply consider the 10, it will give the confirmation at the here at the respect to the source. Now if I say it is like STO is created with a 10 quantity. Okay, so out of 10 quantity at the supplying plant, let us say only the stable stock is 5 is there. Okay, so that means when you are doing the ATP at the supplying plant level for this STO, okay, so 5 is confirmed, which you can deliver it as soon as possible, and the 5 it is not confirmed, but you are going to fulfill it later. Okay, but anyhow with the help of this STO, you are going to get 10 quantity to your received location, right? But out of 10, as of now, 5 only confirmed. Okay, so at your receiving plant, when you are doing the ATP for any other requirement, we considering this STO, which we are bringing 10 quantity from another plant as a receipt, I need to consider this 10, or do I need to consider this 5? So the results will vary. They're getting it.
So you are saying like when we create an STO, and we received just only 5 quantities, right?
Confirmed quantity
So
is only 5 at the
five.
STO.
So
Yeah.
then we will be considering only 5 in our scope of check.
Right, exactly. Do you want to consider entire quantity, or do I want to consider the confirmed quantity? Depending upon your business scenario, you can choose the scope of check accordingly here. Confirmed quantity is the exact quantity which which you are going to get it. Okay. So the requested quantity is a planned quantity, which may delay also sometimes, right? So yeah.
So this requirement we should discuss with the client, right? What kind of
Exactly.
details they need in this.
Exactly. If you want to precise ATP, then we are going with the confirmed quantity, and otherwise you will go with the required quantity. Okay. Anyhow, you are going to get the 10. Okay.
Yeah. Can you repeat one more time this scenario, please?
So you have created an STO, okay, to bring the stock from the another plant. Okay. So for 10 quantity, let us say here. So out of 10 quantity at the source plant, already 5 is available. So immediately it confirmed 5 against this STO. That means I am when I looking from the receiving plant, I know that 5 anyhow it will come because it is already confirmed. Okay, remaining 5, it is going to come in the future. Okay.
Confirmed means it is we are received into the plant, or how?
Confirmed means there. It's like if you take a sales order, when you trigger the ATP, the schedule line will be created with the confirmed quantity, right?
Yes, correct.
Same with the STO as well. When you're triggering the ATP for the STO, the confirmed quantity will be updated against the requirement quantity. The schedule line will be created by when this 5 quantity will come, like that.
So it will be in the PO level, or
it will be in the STO level. So in the STO at the delivery dates at the schedule lines, there you will see that confirmed quantity.
Okay.
Like how you see the sales order confirmed quantity in the schedule lines, right? So you have
Yes.
requested a 10 quantity. If the 10 quantity is available, then there will be a schedule line with the 10 and update the confirmed quantity as a 10. If only stock is 5 is there and you trigger the ATP, there will be one schedule line with a 5 confirmed quantity and the order quantity as a 10 as a main schedule line. Like the same thing only.
Yeah,
Okay.
understood. Thank you.
So when you're doing the ATP at the receiving plant, do you need to consider the full order quantity or only confirmed quantity or not? So that will be decided here. So if there is any future, delayed supplies are there. So the receipts elements are created, but those are in the past. Do you want to consider that past receipts elements also into picture or not? If you are considering it, do you want to give an information when you are accepting the confirmations and doing the ATP? So that will be decided here.
And actually, we are discussing about that one quantity used for STO. We discussed right just now scenario. So we discussed about confirmed quantity. But one thing we are Ankur also mentioned that do we need to discuss with this point to client. So in which scenario we will use for that requested one more option is there, right? Can
So
you?
I mean, in general, we go with the requested quantity only. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever the STO is created for, STO is created for 10 quantity, then we are going to confirm 10 quantity against your requirement in the receiving plan. Okay. So if you are very precise that, so you have requested for 10 only, but how much currently it is confirmed at the sourcing plan. Okay. Very precisely, if you are going to verify the ATP, then you will go with the confirmed quantity.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Right. So when you have any receipt elements which are in the past, do you want to consider those receipts elements? If you are considering it, do you want to give an information message while accepting those confirmation or not? So that will be enabled here. Okay. So the next thing is a checking horizon. Okay. So checking horizon is like it's like a similar to replenishment lead time. Okay. So if you are triggering the ATP at that time, there is no stock. Okay. So you have a replenishment lead time of 10 days. Okay. If you maintain a 10 days, after 10 days, you can give the confirmation, even there is no stock also. Okay. Similar to that, we have a checking horizon concept in the aATP. So okay, based upon the checking horizon, the results will vary. Okay. So ignore the checking origin means it won't consider any checking origin. If the checking origin is 10 days, okay. If when you are triggering the ATP for your requirement, okay, and you have a sales order of 10 quantity and there is no stock at all. So when you're triggering the ATP, so it won't be confirmed at all. The schedule line won't be updated in the sales order requirement, right? So for example, full confirmation. So this is like after the checking origin. If you mention 10 days, okay, after the checking origin, whether the stock is there or not, it will give the confirmation. Getting it? Hello.
So
Any
is
doubt?
it specific? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just asking, like, so full confirmation, it's something very dangerous, right? Like after 10 days, it will confirm like blindly. So
Yeah. So it is
okay.
if you are confident that so you are anyway going to get the stock or the receipts after 10 days, then you are going to give the full confirmation here. So whether the stock is there or not there. So with respect to the current date, after 10 days, the receipt, the schedule line will be generated with the confirmed quantity.
So when we talk about check horizon, is it referring to your replenishment lead time only? Whatever number of days we have put it there, and if we put full confirmation, so it will give the confirmation after 10 days.
Exactly. So we have a separate field is there in the material master, RLT. So there only will mention if it is a 10 days, 12 days. So that will be respected here.
So this field is specifically calling out to my RLT lead time, right?
Right. So you know that after, if any component is required or any product is required, so if you initiate the process, you will get it after 10 days. So if you are very confident about it, okay, and it is strictly following in your business process, then it is okay to put the full confirmation. If you're not sure about it, then no need to put it. Okay, so simply go with the ignore checking origin. Okay, whatever may be the checking origin, whether the stock is there, then only give the confirmation. Otherwise, don't give the confirmation like that.
So if we are putting up ignore check horizon, then there is no need to point. There's no need to mention any RLT lead time in your master data, right?
Right. If you mention also, it won't be considered.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah. And one more scenario. If in case I have a in a sales order, for example, 10 quantities and available is 5.
Okay.
Now 5 got confirmed immediately, but rest 5, I'm talking about my make to stock scenario here.
I got your question. Yeah, let me explain. So suppose, so there is a sales order 1, which is a requirement of 10. Okay. Out of that, 5 stock is there. Okay. So if I'm doing the ATP today only, so immediately if material availability, so on the current date, so 31st May 2025, the 5 will be confirmed. Okay.
Yeah.
So after 10 days, let us say checking origin is 10 days. So that 10 days means let us say 10/06/2025. The remaining 5 will be confirmed.
So in this scenario, what would be my horizon? It is partial or full. What I have to mention here?
It's a checking origin. I'm talking about the checking origin. Okay. So when you are talking about the checking origin and considering the checking origin, okay. So here you have a 5 quantity available. Okay, that is as a stock, and you have a requirement of 10. Okay. So as on current date, the 5 is available. So immediately it is generated the schedule line of 5 quantity. So 5 is confirmed. Okay. For the remaining 5 quantity, if you are not going with the checking origin, then this won't be there. Okay. But as you are considering the checking origin, okay, with the full confirmation, so on the 10th, you will have the 5 more quantity here.
So in my sales order, there will be a next schedule line, which will be for 10th of June.
Right. 2 schedule lines.
Yeah. if I go with the full confirmation, right?
Right. Full confirmation with respect to the checking origin.
Can you go back to the SAP screen once again?
Yeah.
Okay. If I ignore the check horizon, then there won't be any schedule line, second schedule line.
This won't be there.
Won't be there. Okay. There is a third option as well. Can you show me that one?
Yeah. Zero confirmation.
Zero confirmation.
So this is like whatever the requirements are there, right? Whatever the requirements after the checking horizon. So if let us say the checking origin is 10 days, okay, with respect to the current date, whatever the requirements after 10 days, that will be ignored. It won't carry out the ATP, or it won't give the confirmation for those requirements.
So it will give confirmation only for 5, right? Not further. If I choose with a zero confirmation.
If your requirement date within 10 days.
Last point, sorry, I'm confused. Can you just give me an example?
I will explain. So it will be like my requirement date is, let us say, S4 okay, requirement date is, let us say, after 10 days means 12th June 2025. Okay, which is of requirement of 10. And there is one more sales order, which is like, let us say, June 3rd. Okay, this is also requirement of 10. Let us say these two requirements I have. Okay. So now when I'm doing the ATP, my requirement, let us say our checking origin is 10 days. Checking origin is 10 days.
RLT is
The
10 days.
checking origin is okay.
Yeah, checking origin is 10 days. Now these two requirements are there for your material. Now when I'm triggering the ATP for this, okay, so what is the current date? It is 31st May, right? And if you see this requirement, this is it within your checking origin? Within your checking origin means up to what date? It will be up to 9th or June 9th, right?
Yeah.
So this requirement is after the checking origin. Okay. So that means this sales order will be simply ignored.
Okay. Zero confirmation.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what. So if you are going with a zero confirmation, after the checking origin, whatever the requirement dates are there, that will be ignored.
Okay. Yeah. So what is the best practice here? Like, which one we should ideally choose?
So
I mean, like, it's totally depend on business, but still like best practice.
So we used to go with the ignore only.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you are see the zero confirmation when we use is, so even the requirement comes also, you are going to process the first 5 days things only. You are concentrate on the 5 days only. Okay. So the other requirements you are not bothering at the moment. Okay. In those cases, you will go with the third option, the zero confirmation. Okay. So if someone is saying something.
Can you just like again explain with the same example this ignore check horizon, like maybe SO1, SO2, like
ignore checking origin is like,
okay.
So these two requirements are there. Okay.
Yeah.
If the stock is there of 5 quantity, okay. For example, this is created first. Okay.
Yeah.
So then it will give the confirmation of 5 quantity here. That's it. And 5 remains as a back order. And when this sales order comes, this 5 is already confirmed. So this will be back order only.
Okay. No dates and all, nothing. It will check the RLT, nothing. It will check, right?
It won't look at the checking origin itself. It is purely depends upon your ATP, whether
whatever the stock is there.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Clear? Any doubts
Yes.
with respect to the checking origin?
Yeah, no.
So let me summarize here. Checking origin. So three types are there. One is full confirmation. So full confirmation means requirements after the checking origin. After the checking origin are fully confirms, right? Fully confirmed. So if you are going with the zero confirmation, requirements after the checking origin are not confirmed. Okay, ignore checking origin. Ignore check origin. So means when you are going with the ignore checking origin, what will happen? So the requirements are confirmed in accordance with your available stock, right? Available stock or receipts. Clear?
Yes.
Any confusion here? Any confusion?
So here system will check the actually in the ignorance check you mentioned receipts also, right? So you mean it will be considered
Yeah, it will be planned order. The future
okay.
relevance, yeah.
Okay, those also okay.
Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So these are like special scenarios when you are going with the when you want to trigger the ATP at the storage location level instead of the location. So with respect to the storage location, what is the stock? Okay. Or when you're dealing with the supply protection, at that time you will use the special scenarios. Okay. So this is for the missing parts. Okay. So whenever the missing parts are there, whatever the GR processing time you mentioned here, that will be considered. This is morely for when you're dealing with the planned order level ATP or the production order level ATP at the time. Okay. So this is how you can define your scope of check.
Karthik, this one, can you repeat one more time? Quantity distribution with quantity distribution.
This one,
Delayed supply. Yeah, delayed supply one.
no. Okay. Delayed supply is like so there is one planned order, okay, which is in the past date. Okay, so earlier the planning run happened, it is generated. Post that no one is converted or no one touched it. Okay, it is still lies in the past. Okay, so that is a receipt element. So that let us say the planned order only. So which is dated on April 25. That is the end date of that planned order. Okay. Do you want to consider that receipt element as a receipt element to carry out or to give the confirmation against your requirement or not? Okay. So if you want to consider, then no need to check. If you want to, if you don't want to consider, then without receipts in the past, you need to enable that. Okay. And when you are considering that past receipt elements, if you want to, it should give a information to you that saying that whatever the confirmation you are accepting it, that receipt is in the past. Some information message if you want it, then you will get the you need to enable the second checkbox.
Yeah, second one. And quantity distribution.
Quantity distribution is like, let me see. Right. This is like if you are doing the planned orders or the production order ATP. Okay, if there are 10 planned orders are there. Okay, in the 10 planned orders are the production orders, one component is common. Okay, so which is of 10 quantity. Stock is available 10 only. So there are 10 planned orders. Okay, each planned order component coefficient is 10. So for one planned order, 10 components are required, for example. Okay. So then if you're going with a normal ATP, okay, so the moment you trigger the COMAC for the planned orders, so first planned order, whatever the first planned order picks up, that will give the that will get the entire stock and give the confirmation to the first planned order only. Okay, but when you are going with the quantity distribution, so what it will do is out of 10, it will assign 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that means a partially conformer to each planned order. You're getting it?
Yeah, clear.
So if you have a planned order 1 and a planned order 2, okay, and one component is common between this, so the component stock is 10. Okay, so this planned order for one FG, it requires the 10 components. Okay, 10 quantity of one component. So now this is of 10, right? So if you are going the quantity distribution, when you are performing the mass ATP for all those planned orders via COMAC, so then this will be 5 will be get confirmed here and 5 will be get confirmed here for the respective component if you are going with the quantity distribution. Okay. If not, if there is no quantity distribution, what will happen? The entire 10 will be confirmed against this component. Clear?
Yeah. So if you want to distribute accordingly all the plan orders, we need to check there, or
yeah, we need to enable this quantity distribution.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, clear.
So this is while doing the mass, so not individually. So when you're doing the mass ATP confirmation, then only this comes into the picture.
Mass ATP means it will be backend processing, or
it's a COMAC for planned orders or the production order. We have a separate.
Oh, okay. So will we discuss that one also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Now let us create one material and we'll carry out all those things with respect to that. So mean the time, can anyone summarize what are the things we discussed so far? Any one of you? Niranjan, Prabhudev, any one of you?
Yeah, I can summarize.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
The first is the activation of this aATP, right? Like how we activate in that one of the T code, I think SFW5.
Right.
Then like there we can check that is like that is the first one, and then like the activation of Fiori apps.
Okay.
In this, going to Fiori app library and picking all those configuration details from Fiori ID and activate this, right? Then activating the roles all those things, and yeah, set they are acting the rows, I think. Yeah. Then we checked about normal ATP, like what are the rules we
Right.
yeah. Yes.
Okay. Any other things which Niranjan missed, Ankur or Prabhudev?
So not miss, like I just want to add like few things. We discussed about the scope of check, right? The scope and checking rules which are defined for your sales order. How, yeah, from where the aATP gets triggered, where the settings which we need to perform for your advanced aATP at your checking group level, and the sort of build with these two combination, checking rule and checking group. What all the receipts, what are the requirements, and how much stock we need to consider in order to get the clarity of your aATP for your sales order available to promise part. And yeah, some of the T codes, like where we can look, where we can activate the data services, or where we can activate the aATP functionality, since it is a separate license required for that. And in a Fiori app, like what all Fiori apps are required, how can we set them at the home page? So yeah, these are pretty much discussed.
Good. Yeah, thanks Niranjan, and thanks Ankur. So shall we continue, or we'll connect it tomorrow?
Tomorrow we
Yeah, we can connect tomorrow.
Yeah, someone asked right at the starting of the session, you want to conclude it. Yeah. Okay, then tomorrow we are connecting around 8:30, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Fine, then tomorrow let's connect around 8:30 a.m. IST.
Naveen, can we have system access possible? By the time tomorrow we have a class, we can do some hands-on things. Naveen, are you there? Anyway, we'll connect next time.
Yeah. Please get in touch with me for the system access if required. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then thanks everyone. We'll connect in the tomorrow session.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye bye.